So I want to thank you so much for coming for our session today. This is our weekly webinar series where we discuss different topics ranging from graduate school applications to capacity building to personal discovery along those lines. And so you're welcome. And this is courtesy of African Center for Career Mentorship. And we normally work with other partners and other agencies from time to time. We normally have guest speakers and guest panelists. So today we are going to talk about grants writing, and we have called it part 1 because we have another part 2 for next week. So grants or research funds is a common word, and you'll keep meeting it many times. You'll keep coming across it many times, both in the development spheres, but also in the spheres in academia. They are very common. You can ask for a grant to do a development project in your community, but also you can ask for a grant to undertake academic studies or research for your either award of a master's, award of a bachelor's, award of a diploma, or something like that. And so it's important to understand the basics. And so for part 1, we are going to just talk about the basics, and then I will dive a bit deeper towards the end of it for part 2. So in our part 1, we want to look at how do funders normally start the process. So always funders have an agenda, or they have something they want to address, or they have something they want to contribute to. So they normally have it at the back of their mind. And what they have shapes the advert, or shapes the call for these proposals or the grants. So for you who is coming across the advert, you need to pay attention to the initiator's interest or the initiator's agenda. What do they want to achieve? And once you get to understand what they want to achieve, the second question you ask yourself is, can I contribute to what they want to achieve? Do I have what it takes to contribute to what they want to achieve? That question is very pertinent. So you need to be able to answer that question very well. If you think you have what it takes to contribute to what they want to achieve, then you can now begin delving deeper into the grant call or the grant advert itself. Now, delving deeper, I mean going through the details of the call or the details of the grant call. And I have a sample here which I have got for purposes of our learning today. So this call was by Bill and Melinda Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates, and they worked together with Wellcome Trust. And their interest, because I remember I told you that they normally have an agenda, they normally have an interest that they want to achieve. So their interest is strengthening health and disease modeling for public health decision making in Africa. But this is just an example, so I don't want you to take that as the main thing, but the call or the advert you will be responding to will always have maybe a heading or will have a title. And you need to understand that title quite well. So this is by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so they begin by giving information which is required for the application. I won't go through it now. the applicant profile. I will not go through that now. They even go through the proposal format. I will not go through that now. And they even guide what it should look like and everything. But I just wanted to take you through a detailed call, which has deadlines, which has timelines, but also which has the eligibility. It has the details which you need to satisfy for you to be able to apply for this particular application. Now, the eligibility is very important. Actually, for me, I normally tell my mentees that if you discover that you don't suit a number of eligibility items which are listed, then you don't need to push and take, it shouldn't take out of your time. You better save your time such that you can do something productive. So there is eligibility here, but they even give additional information on the eligibility still. But something I just want to also share is that they were very intentional in giving links to various information. Now, for example, this is the background information, which is very critical when you're coming up with a proposal. So they give the background information. In other words, something that triggered them to make this advert. Now, if you are to win a grant, and if you are to respond to a grant very well, beginning by understanding the background, what are they trying to solve? Once you understand what they are trying to solve, the second aspect will be, like I've already indicated, are you able to contribute? And I'm sure you will always have something to contribute. Let's just go through this background. So it says mathematical modeling is a valuable tool for informing policy making and programmatic decision making in the public health domain. Modeling can be applied to analyze key areas from disease burden estimation to evaluating the potential impact of control interventions to informing product development. Approaches to guide public action led by local modeling units and co-created with the decision makers bring an invaluable understanding of relevant local and regional context, and the question is enabling higher impact. That background is very important, and they continue talking about the challenge. In other words, they are saying the request for proposal 6 for proposals for innovative high quality modeling projects that will address the specific research questions whitelist. So in other words, as you're addressing particular questions, they want you to be addressing these 3 objectives as well. All this information is very important because it is helping you to understand what the funder is looking for. Once you pay attention to what the funder is looking for, once you stick to the objectives, or you position yourself in the objectives which they are trying to pursue, they will see you as an asset, and they will see your grant or your application as a contribution. In other words, they are not just giving you money, but they are investing for them to harvest. So it's very important for you to show them that you're contributing to what they are pursuing. If you're coming to ask for resources from me, you need to understand what I'm currently working on. And you need to position yourself that, you know, Abel, you are working on ABCD, but I have a shortcut, or I have another methodology on how we can achieve ABCDXYZ. So the background information is very important when you're beginning to respond to a call or to a grant. So, and the objectives they are trying to pursue. If you realize that the objectives they're trying to pursue, they don't interest you, or they don't align with your career aspiration, you better let that call go. You will find another call or another advert or another opportunity which aligns well with your career aspiration or with the areas you are very passionate about. I have come across a number of mentees that see a call or a grant and they just want to respond to everything they come across. That is not the case. So you need to pay attention to what they are pursuing, but also if it aligns to your areas of interest. So this particular advert has even the scope of the proposed work they want to achieve. It even has options that you need to pick up either option A or option B. So the point I'm trying to bring is that these calls or these applications, they normally detail and they normally give you guiding information. Now, if you don't pay attention to the guiding information, your proposal is likely not to merit or not to succeed. So you need to pay attention to the call, to the advice they are giving you. This advice, in other words, they want to see whether you are obedient or you can comply with the rules. So step number one is to comply with the rules. You need to comply with the rules they have set up. So let me begin with this particular one here. So they say that to begin your application, please click on apply or for this opportunity button at the bottom of the challenge page. Through this link, you will be able to access Strengthening Health and Disease Modeling for Public Health in Africa program, either create a new account or log into the system. Now they give you what the proposal document should look like. For this one, they were very specific. They want a maximum of 3 pages. Now for you, if you say, for me, I have a lot of content, I want to give them a proposal for 30 pages or 10 pages or 20 pages, for them to know that I'm a very serious person, trust me, you'll lose it at that level. Or some of us are a bit lazy, that you already responded to another call last year, so you have a full proposal, which was by that instruction or by that rules, for example, and you want to just copy the same advert or the same proposal that you wrote last year and you paste it here for another call. You may not interest them and they are likely to throw you away at the screening stage. So it's important to pay attention to the format and the specification they have given. So these guys have been very clear. They want 3 pages. And then they even give how the proposal should look like. They say 11 point for all font or larger, at least this on margins, single line spacing. So you need to listen to those small things. They seem small, but they are very, very important. And for me, in the part A of this conversation, I just wanted us to understand the background, understand that always the funders have an agenda that they are pursuing, that when you're coming with your application, you should be seen contributing to that agenda. If you are not contributing to it, they will not give you audience. But then I just also wanted to share with you that you can see they proceed that for the proposal should have the following. They should have introduction, and it should have the following information. It should have they continue to give the full proposal information, now 2 pages, and then path to impact. They even have a budget template and narrative. So some calls normally have specific budget template that you should listen to. It's very important because sometimes we may think that I developed a proposal last year for my water project or for my garbage collection project in Kampala City Council Authority. And so I just want to use that very one. So you need to be flexible. You need to really be flexible. Otherwise, if you stick to what you did last year or what other people have done, you're likely not to pick and you're likely not to attract this funding for yourself or for your organization. So it's important to follow what they are saying. So this discussion is really not specific on a particular call or a particular grant. And that's why I'm not trying to delve deeper into a particular call or a grant, but just to share guidance that you need to have as you start the journey of writing and applying for grants. Now, in this particular call, they are very clear. They ask, give a short description of the specific problem your proposal addresses. So you need to be clear on the problem you're trying to solve. What is that problem you're trying to solve? Are you saying you are solving the issue of garbage collection in Kampala State Council Authority? Are you saying you are solving the issue of water shortage in, say, Namisindwa district? So you need to be very clear. Then they say, what is your proposed solution? So one thing I want to share is that most of the grants and most of the proposals we write, we are proposing a solution to something or to a problem which is existing, or we are proposing a new methodology or a new approach to what is currently existing. So it is important for you to know what is currently existing. And you should be able to critique it and say, you know what? This is what is currently existing. It has these weaknesses. It has these gaps. But me, I am coming up with a new approach, which is very creative and which is very innovative and which is unconventional. Then they will ask you the third question, why do you think your idea is creative or unconventional or innovative? Why do you think so? Why do you say your idea is very good? Why should we give you the money? And so you should be able to explain all those things there. So in this conversation, what I'm saying is that funding opportunities are available, actually very many of them. The call for applications and for grants are always there and they will continue being there. What is important is what are you bringing on table? What are you coming to add on? What are you coming to contribute to? If you are not clear on what you're coming to contribute to, you're likely not to attract funding. You're likely not to attract these funding opportunities. So they continue to say, okay, can you give a brief description of the work that you'll be undertaking? Can you describe the thematic areas that you'll be focusing on? Can you justify why you've selected that approach or this method? In other words, why have you chosen that you're going to dig a borehole? Why aren't you bringing a tap? Why are you saying you're going to use a tractor for opening the trenches? Why aren't you using a hoe or something like that? So you need to be able to explain why you have chosen a particular line or approach. It's very important. But be mindful of the word limit, be mindful of the pages they are asking for. And if there is a page format they want you to use, also stick to that format. The first step for grant writing is being obedient and listening to what they are saying. Once you're obedient, you're likely to go through the screening phase, and then you're likely for them to review and look at the idea you are proposing for your work. So that is part A of our conversation. And I just want to end it at that and just see if you have some questions for us to discuss or if you have something to add on.